Welcome to Disrupted Science, the occasional conversation between the authors of the book How the Internet Disrupted Science, publishing next week and currently available for pre-order. Yeah, we're finally there, Joy. I'm Kent Anderson and here with my co-author, Joy Moore. And today is Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. Hey, Joy.
Hey Kent, how's it going?
It's going great. We got to see each other last week, which was a
We
great treat.
we did, yes. Of all the virtual time that we spend together, it was great to be live in person.
It's better with nachos.
Yeah, those nachos were
They were good.
amazing.
They
We
didn't
need,
look that good coming out,
oh,
but
I
they
knew they were good.
tasted good.
I
They
knew they were going
tasted
to be
good going
good.
in.
Yeah.
Well, they did queso on them instead of, like melted cheddar cheese. So it was like queso with guac. Yeah, that
Mm,
was okay.
we don't,
Well,
I don't
anyhow,
even know what was in it, but they were delicious.
yes,
And shout out to the Lost Marble in Manchester, Vermont.
yes.
We'll get to more Vermont information later. I guess that was my positive discovery of the week. I have a
You have a,
not so positive one.
well, you had a lot of
Yeah.
friends where you stayed too.
Yeah. And so yeah, we were on the road, or I was on a much longer road than you were,
Yeah, you drove a lot
because
of miles.
you had a shorter commute, but we had a great time, and we'll get to in we'll get into what we were doing up there in a minute, but we also, there was a lot of news that came out this week of, really terrible things for public health, and a lot more discoveries about how that vacuum is being filled.
Well, and created, right? Because one of
Yeah.
the things that first you have to create the vacuum, and that's what RFK and Bhattacharya and all those people have been doing by sidelining experts and emptying panels and eliminating peer review and dumping real scientists at the side of the road as they go on their little gallivanting toward the circus that they want to run. So now they've created the vacuum, and now they're starting to fill it with peptides and all sorts of nonsense. But the suppression of data from this government too, from soldiers being injured and killed in military action to public health information to normal monitoring of our food, it's just the vacuum is growing.
Yeah, it's really gross once you start to look at it, and you don't necessarily get it from the headlines. I mean, the headlines are getting a little bit more pointed, which is
Hmm.
good.
Hmm.
Once you unpack it, the dismantling, the Lysenkoism, the project, 2024
Right, the
is
Russell Vought
really,
garbage.
yeah,
Project
it's
2025, yeah.
2025. Yeah, it's really coming true.
Hmm.
And it's crazy, and looking at kind of what's coming across to the public in terms of
Hmm.
scientific information. There's way more information about alternative cures and vitamins, and how there's so much science, so much clinically backed research on things that you can buy at your Walmart, maybe even more at the fancy Walmart,
Yeah.
as a throwback.
For
And
loyal
then,
listeners, we'll have a trivia
yeah,
in 5 years. When
right.
was the first time Joy mentioned fancy Walmart?
Yeah. Um, it's really astounding. And a lot
But what
of
was the
the
one I heard today? It was for the Gruen gummies, and there are more than 35,000 clinical studies backing this up. It's like that means that none do because you're just saying that if it talks about some ingredient, in some way, it's just nonsense. It's just all this nonsense that they're making citations. I
well,
was
they
just
can't.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Just hold on just a second. We're talking
I'm
about
still here.
groons. They have an umlaut,
They
right?
have an
So
umlaut,
so
yeah,
clearly it's natural
and fiber,
from a foreign country, whose language we do not speak.
and
So
their
it's
doctor
not
is a
for
green
us to,
bear. Not for
right?
us to judge. I did see. I think I told you I was watching. I've been binging an old detective procedural on a streaming service that will remain nameless. But they run ads, and one of the ads came up, and it was, for a vitamin. And they cited, you could see at the bottom, if you looked really closely, that it was from a study from BMJ Open.
Mm.
And so that sent me on a little bit of a rabbit hole dive, and I found the study. And it just reminds me that, like, we're speculating that most of these studies are mid. They're not nothing burgers. There's really no scientific advance given, but they generate a citation that can be used to deceive people that there is some sort of, advance in science that led to the development of this omega-3 formulation that they're pushing, when it's really just a study saying, in a population there can be some deficits in omega-3, and it's related somehow to how much money you make. And it's like, well, duh. And now you're selling
Yeah.
vitamins to rich people so they get too much omega-3. But it's just, it's a crazy time.
Well, and we also have to mention that a lot of these clinically backed studies are farmed out to clinical research
Right,
organizations that
CROs.
are primed, that are in business solely for the purpose of creating papers, creating clinical studies that would go into these papers that will end up getting published.
Right. So that's the pitch, and then the catch is BMJ Open is making money every time they publish one, right? So I mean, this is the whole pitch and catch that's going on with Gold Open Access, and that's the other part of this. As soon as I saw BMJ Open, I'm like, of course, it's going to be a pay-to-play open access journal, and that's where so much of this stuff is getting published. So, well, anyhow.
Well, thinking of stuff getting published,
Oh, yes.
what are
Do
we
you know of
talking
anything
about
good?
today? Yeah, we do. We know, we heard this morning that our book was a real bummer to read, and we took that in the best way. So
He meant
let's
it. He
talk
actually
about,
meant it as a compliment, I
yeah,
think,
it,
because he's like, it made sense because it's a bummer to look at what's going on right now. And it's like, and it kind of told me how we got here. And it's like, it was kind of a bummer. We could have headed this off in multiple points.
yeah, but that's water under the bridge.
Well, that means we
And
told the story accurate, well, at least, I think.
yeah,
It wasn't
well,
like I mean, he said he read the whole book and it was a real bummer. And,
what do we do?
and yeah, and what do we do? And we're like, well, we have some answers at the end, but maybe you were too choked up to read them. But I think that's, the point is we need to kind of face facts and then start correcting. And I think there are some green shoots around that.
Definitely.
All
So
right. So what do you want to talk about our signings today? I know there are some people who are curious about how they went.
yeah, let's talk
All
about
right,
that.
let's do that. All right, so let's talk about our very first book signings, which neither of us have. Well, I have a little bit of experience with them with when I self-published my mysteries, but that was nothing like this. That was just like a local bookstore and friends coming by to get a book. So, but this was traveling and all that stuff. So, but you traveled a ton.
Yeah, well, I got to go back up to Marblehead, which was just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Cambridge, was where we had our first one in Porter Square. And that was really cool to
Yeah,
get started in the heart of the science and tech, you know, neighborhoods.
right. And as was normal with Boston, there was a lot of road construction,
Yeah, I did get
and
lost
you got lost,
trying to
which you have to do.
trying
And
just trying to get into the parking lot. Which made me feel at home.
that's right. I mean, Boston, the roads in Boston are still cow paths that have just been paved over. The Red Line was under construction. It was pouring rain for part of it. So it was a great, memorable night.
Yeah, but the people who showed up were amazing. We
Yeah.
had some great questions and comments. And to be in in a very specific bookstore. So Porter Square Books is in the building of Lesley University. And so there's definitely a local hometown bookstore aspect to it, but there's also an academic part of it. And we had some great folks. Taylor was our host, and
Yep, she was
she
great.
she took good care of us. And we had some, like I said, some really great questions that we are going to build on in the future.
Yeah, and I think that's the been we'll say it about the others too, but just the interactions with real people about these topics. There's a lot of interest in it. There's a lot of people who understand that they're curious as to what's gone on, and
Hmm.
and some of them have already figured it out kind of intuitively or through their own lens, and then they have particular questions that they wanted us to tackle. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, lots of favorite people there. Um, Pretty young crowd actually too, which was cool.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
so that was book signing one. And then we moved on to Newburyport.
Newburyport to Jabberwocky Books.
Yep.
Another lovely bookstore. If you haven't
Fantastic
been in
bookstore.
there, if you want to buy a book and talk to people who know about books, that's a put that on your bucket list.
And if you
Um,
want to pet a very, very good boy sheepdog
yes.
mascot named Chaucer, who won't get up until he's told to get up. He'll just lay
Hmm.
there and let you pet him. He has his very nice curly fur. But Shauna, Grace, and the owner Sue were our hosts, and they were fantastic. And we got to see some publishers
Hmm.
and some old friends,
We did.
which was fantastic. And yeah, the owner, as my way of describing her, she's boss.
She's the boss. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and I think she started the store
she
and
did in
yeah.
1972, she said, and it was one little room. And but she is just the real deal. I think the slang, she's boss, she's nails, whatever.
Hmm.
She's just like so on fire. And then at the end, she stopped me and she said, "I'm gonna sell the hell out of this book." And I'm like,
Good for you. Yes.
"Go for it, please." But a great bookstore. I actually bought the translation of the Odyssey that's so hot right now there, and it was a beautiful book and it's just a store where you want to go and buy books.
Hmm. And then we made our way up to Vermont.
Yes.
And I don't think I'd been to Manchester before. I've been, to Burlington and Bennington. But this was a really cool area that I got to discover that I know that you know well.
Hmm.
And Northshire Books was our destination.
Yeah.
And it was, again, super cool. You can go to the Orvis outlet and get all of your fly fishing needs, and you can go to Northshire Books, and you can go to many, many wonderful cafes and farm stands and things like that. So
Yep.
again, it was really cool to go to a place that was like in the heart of a community that also caters to outsiders like us.
Yeah, it's a real town that also has a little bit of a tourist town vibe on the side, and they had this big equestrian event going on there. They're
Yeah.
one of, I think, I was learning a little bit about this. I think one of six sites in the U.S. and Canada where they hold these equestrian events, and maybe it's just the U.S. But it was, we would drive past it on the way back to where we stay every day to and from, and just watching those horses leap the
Mm.
fences, and you just appreciate how much skill and power and everything is involved in that, in the relationship between the rider and the horse, and these little this whole traveling circus has gone there, right? Like there's
Hmm.
like rows and rows of tents, and there's all these people, and there's food trucks, and it's I love those kinds of little interstitial communities whether that are doing really niche things in a fairly big scale, and they were filling up the town with interesting people wearing interesting pants. So
Yeah, I noticed. I was like, what's with all the tight pants? And then you said, oh yeah, there's a horse thing. I was like, okay, well,
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't bring the right outfit, but I'm also not a horse person.
right.
But along with that is the fact that we had some amazing people come to our book signing, and people we had no idea who they were or why they showed up. And once we got to the end of our spiel, we got some amazing questions and found out that there are a lot of super thoughtful people there who are dealing with in real time the problems
Hmm.
that we are talking about, and who are looking for resources like ours to help them navigate this new world of information, of AI,
Hmm.
of copyright, of patents, of public policy, and lots of other things. And so there was a real sense of, oh, we know that there's a problem, and we are looking for solutions. And can you guys help us? And
Hmm.
that was really cool.
Yeah. It was interesting too because we didn't know them, and the like you said, we're watching. You're saying what we're saying, and we're having the conversation we're having, and reading selections from the book and all of that, and you don't know if somebody's kind of getting happy or sad or mad or glad or whatever, because everybody's nice and composed and everything. And then so you kind of there seemed to be a moment there where I was kind of like holding my breath a little bit. It's like, all right, someone gonna let loose on us? And no,
Yeah.
they were ahead of us.
Yeah, they were. I was like, are they going to throw like raw salmonella milk at us? And
Right.
no, it was the opposite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was really, really good. And then, yeah, it was, and that's another great bookstore. I think that's the other thing is just to see great bookstores where families and communities gather and people enjoy kind of going and interacting with and finding books and talking to geeky authors like us and all of that. And it's just kind of reassuring that the world still is pretty steady on some axes at least. So
Well, the fact that these, book events are going on in the evenings,
hmm.
between whatever you do during the day and where you're going to dinner, and it's something that people still want to do, is
Yeah,
really reassuring.
yeah, absolutely. So if you came and you're listening to this, or I think Kendall was our host at Northshire. If you helped
Hmm.
us out, thank you, and we
Hmm.
really appreciate it, and we hope that we can continue any dialogue we started there. We have one more book signing coming up at Toadstool Books in Peterborough, New Hampshire on August 7th. That's a
Hmm.
Friday.
Yep.
And then you can go up to Maine and watch my rock band at a biker bar after that. But totally
Right.
separate choice, independent choice.
No, no,
But
no.
one thing,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah,
must do.
it's a
Yeah.
package deal. It's a package deal. But one thing I learned about Peterborough is apparently they have a big theater contingent there. So
Hmm.
for some reasons, I don't know whether it's summer stock or something like that. So I was told we might expect a lot of people from associated with the theater at our book signing. So I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah, whatever. Bring it on.
We could do an interpretive, we'll have to
We'll
work
do
on our
puppets.
readings. We'll have
Yeah.
to yeah,
Oh,
more
that's right. Well,
Shakespearean
that's right. A little more flamboyant.
in our elocution. Yes.
There you go. We'll do accents. And then we've also been recording some general interest podcasts, and
Mhm.
that's been fun. So two have already been released. One from Mike at Bald Ambition, who goes by
Mhm.
Mookie, and
Mhm.
he's a hoot and a half, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. He was like, he really got into it and
Oh yeah,
gave us some good fodder to respond
yeah,
to.
he was fun to talk to. And then the other was Talk to Me Taylor,
Yeah.
and again, opposite end of the spectrum, but both really easy to talk to. And she's a former red carpet or current red carpet reporter who dabbles in public policy and science topics and various other things of interest, just whatever strikes her fancy. And so we had a quick episode with her, and that was a lot of fun. She was really great to talk with.
Oh yeah, no, she's super smart and she's got her finger on the pulse of what her audience cares about. And it was really
Hmm.
cool that she wanted to learn more about what we care about. So hopefully we were helpful.
Yep. And then we've got a few more coming up that are in the can or about to be in the can. We've AI for Beginners, Ruined by the Internet, the Health Affairs podcast, one called Too Brad for You, and another called The SciTech Lawyer. And then there are more to come, we've been told.
Mhm.
So we shall see.
Yeah,
And
it's really fun talking to different people from different backgrounds who have different angles into what we're talking about. And so that's kind of been reassuring that the book is for general audiences, but
mhm.
there are going to be different perspectives into, well, why should I care about this? And what's the takeaway for X, Y, and Z audience? So,
Yeah, and I mean one of the interviewers said that our inclusion of, well, actually a couple of people have said this, how much pop culture we sprinkle in, they've liked,
mhm.
because it's kind of like reassures them that this isn't all, you know, dry and serious, but we're actually have some snark to it, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, we have to put it into the perspective of pop culture because it's affecting culture.
Right.
And it's
And
very
pop
much
culture
of
is
today.
commenting on a lot of the topics, actually. That's why it makes it in there. Is you have pop cultural people who are weighing in their way.
Hmm.
All right, are you ready for discoveries of the week?
I am.
All right, let's do it. All right, so discoveries of the week. Joy, you lead us off this week.
So I had a wonderful time in Vermont. I appreciated the hiking, meeting the cool people, going to the farmers market, and
That is a
living
nice farmer's
amongst.
market, isn't it?
It's a lovely one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a real one. Like
Yeah.
there's no like down here we've got fake farmers markets where you can see them taking the strawberries out of the grocery store things and putting them in buckets and charging you twice. No, all this stuff was definitely homegrown.
Right.
Um, and even, living amongst in a cabin with some daddy long legs for a few days, that was great. What I did not appreciate about Vermont is something that you pitched to me a long time ago was this maple creamy. It
Do tell.
did
Not
not
your cup of
not
tea.
not my cup of tea. And even at the farmers market, there was a distiller
Hmm.
who was selling maple creamy liqueur and said, "Would you
Oh.
like a shot of this?" And I said, "Absolutely not." He was he said, "It's the Baileys of Vermont." It's like, no. Um, so I'm gonna just say it's an acquired taste and it's not one that I have acquired. Maybe I'll try
Okay.
it again.
Okay. Well, that reminds me, there's a Sam's stone-fired pizza is in Manchester.
Hmm.
And so we got for our dinner, lunch, I forget, whatever, on Sunday, we got one of their pizzas and it's Cat's combo or something like that, Cat's special, Kats apostrophe S, so Catherine's, I guess. But anyhow, it's sliced green apples, and then bacon, and then
Hmm.
drizzled with maple syrup.
See,
And
that I could get into. Was
it's
there goat
really
cheese
good.
on
Oh,
it?
there was Gouda.
Okay, even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no,
So
ricotta.
that.
I'm sorry. And what they did with the ricotta is they put it under the mozzarella so you didn't see it coming.
Hmm. Yep.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
was really good. So next time you're up there, just
Okay.
remember,
I'll
Try that
try the
pizza.
maple in a different form factor. What did you discover?
So I discovered we were driving around, taking different routes around Dorset, Vermont, which is near Manchester. And my wife all of a sudden goes, "Did you see that?" And I said, "Do you see what?" There was a big lawn marker that said Kent.
Hmm.
And so we drove past that a few times and I kept missing it. She said, "Did you see it?" And I said, "I forgot to look." So anyhow, she sent me a picture of it, and from a like street view kind of thing. And she's like, "See, it's real." And then I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it turns out that it's a marker for a neighborhood in Dorset, Vermont that has historical importance. So it's the site of so then the Kent neighborhood of Dorset, Vermont is the site of the first meetings that led to Vermont's independence before it became, and that was kind of a separation from New York, I think, because I think New
Mm.
Hampshire and New York were fighting over how to divvy it up, and Vermont just said, "Go away, we're just going to be our own state." And then they
Hmm.
became the 14th U.S. state. It's the town where Alcoholics Anonymous was founded, and there's a
By Bill,
house there
not
by,
Kent.
yep, yeah, exactly, not by me. But there's a house with a marker and one of those poles and everything. And then it was the home of Kent Tavern, where all these important historical meetings came
Ah,
about. And the lawn marker is there for all of that. So it was kind of a funny little bit of serendipity. It's like, like driving past a place and, "Hey, that's my name."
hmm.
Okay, what does it mean? But there's history to it. So that was my discovery of the week.
Doesn't Kent mean like known? Isn't that the origin of the
Does it?
word?
I
I
don't
think it
know.
is. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to go look something else up.
Yeah. I think it has something to do with knowing the truth. I could be
Oh,
making that
well,
up, but
it sounds right to me. I just remember it's a name that people surprisingly have different responses to. Like there's a British guy I know who he grew up in Kent, England, and when he discovered that, and when he met me, he's like, "I like you already because your name is Kent."
mhm.
And then there's a School of Rock in Kent, Washington, and my boss was kind enough to ask them to send me a sweatshirt that says School of Rock, Kent. So it's a name that I don't know. It's a good name to have. I don't know. Seems to work.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. Our book is out next week. We hope you decide to buy it if you haven't already ordered it. We're excited that it's going to finally be read widely. We hope, and we'll talk to you about it when we know a little bit more. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to our friends at Provoke the Truth for the music. If you have topics you want us to cover, please email us at disruptedscience@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. You can also keep up with developments at the Geyser, where you can subscribe to support our efforts. Thanks so much for the listens and the feedback, and here we go.
All right. See you later.